technology.
No, never let somebody else play with your equipment.
Oh,
Chair, fellow speakers, and most welcome guests. Each and every one of you has a gift. Like the majority of people, you probably don't realise that you do. Because well-meaning parents, teachers, religion, culture, media, and even your peers encourage you to ignore it. As children, we are coerced to do as we are told, even if it doesn't feel right for us, and in so doing, ignore our survival instinct, our boundaries. A solo tour in India, aged 21, began to help me understand this. If any of you have been to India, you will know that if you stand still in the street, you will immediately be accosted and asked, change money, want rickshaw, or whether you want to buy something. To avoid this happening, I walked deep in thought along the seafront as I pondered the consequences of me going over my self-imposed daily budget in order to get a boat to Elephanta Island. The boat left from Mumbai harbour, Bombay as it was called then. I wandered past the Taj Mahal palace, a five-star hotel. Nothing in my surrounding had seemingly changed. So I was surprised when a few metres past the end of the building, I felt a strong urge to turn around. I can't explain rationally what led me to do this. However, as I traced my steps back to the entrance of the hotel, a man approached me and asked, "Do you want to buy some drugs?" I said, "No thank you," and walked on, purposefully. This turned out to be the only time in 3 weeks that I had such an experience. I didn't think much more of it until about 8 years later, when I was visiting a relative. As I sat in her living room waiting for a cup of tea, a book seemed to jump out at me from the bookshelf. I picked it up and began to read Gavin de Becker's accounts of women who had survived assaults. He was curious as to why they were alive and others weren't. He noticed that all their testimonies had something in common. The women sensed something was not right, even though rationally they could not describe what it was. More importantly, they acted on the feeling, on what Gavin de Becker called the gift of fear. You might call it instinct, gut feeling, premonition, sixth sense. Ultimately, what you call it doesn't really matter. What is important is to recognise the feeling, because it's designed to save your life. This has to be differentiated from what de Becker describes as the curse, the fear of the unknown. Fear of losing face, maybe fear of public speaking, or irrational fears like spiders or wasps, which are not true fears, but anxiety. Now ask yourself, how often have you had a feeling and then ignored it? and regretted it. Science now understands, through studying the vagus nerve and the fascia, that we perceive a lot more than we are actually aware of. The gut has 5 more times more neurons than the spinal cord, and so it's now called the second brain. Next time, rather than attempt to rationalise it, I urge you to trust your gift more than you trust anyone else. Ignore anyone that tells you to rationalise it. It could save your bank balance, a relationship, your business, and it might even save your life. I don't know what might have happened if I'd ignored my feeling in Bombay when I was 21. Having had my life threatened at 18 by someone I thought I could trust, I guess I was not prepared to find out. I feel grateful that I listened and acted on the gift of fear, and I'm here to tell the tale.